Welcome to Lesson 10 in the Beginner Crochet series. In this tutorial, we'll cover changing colours after several rows and also changing for every row. I'll be using the half treble stitch, but the technique is the same for most stitches. Let's begin with adding the new colour. So, loop the new colour onto the hook. Pull it through the loop on the hook. Chain 2 for the height of a half treble. Then gently pull on the old colour, which will tighten the loop to make it invisible. I use this method for all colour changes at the end of a row. Turn your work and start your stitch. I tend to crochet over the tail for a few stitches to secure it. For a double crochet stitch, join the new yarn and chain 1. Then gently pull on the old colour. For a treble, join the yarn and chain 2 or 3 for the stitch height. Then gently pull on the old colour, which will tighten the loop to make it invisible. If your colour change occurs after several rows, the yarn can be carried up until it's needed. Hold the resting colour level with the row and hold it in place with your hook hand. Bring the working yarn up so it sits behind the resting colour and make your chains as normal. The carried yarn should be between the top V and the single strand of the chain. Turn and tighten the resting colour slightly before starting your first stitch. You can see it's tucked in quite neatly. I would carry the yarn every other row or so to keep it tidy. When it's time for a colour change, place the old colour to the back of your work or on the same side as your ends. Make your chains with the new colour. I hold it between my thumb and middle finger so I don't pull it too tight. Pull gently on the old colour so it can't be seen. Turn and continue crocheting. The colour change is seamless front and back. To change colour every row, the new yarn needs to be in place at the start. We'll crochet over the yarn to carry it along, hiding it with the stitches. When the front is facing you, hold the carried yarn towards the back of the work, level with the last row. Make your stitches, crocheting over the next colour as you go. It kinda ends up sitting on top of the last row. Don't pull on the carried yarn as this will pucker up your work. When the back is facing you, hold a resting colour towards the front of the work, level with the last row. You always want the yarn ends etc. to be on the same side. This is known as the wrong side of the work. The neat side is known as the right side. A pattern will note the wrong and right sides if it's relevant, otherwise you can decide yourself. At the end of the row, make the chains with the new colour, remembering to hold it so it isn't too tight. Turn and continue crocheting. Pull gently on the carried colour if need be. With smaller stitches, the carried colour is hidden by the new colour at the front and back. However, it can be seen at the back on taller stitches. This is our swatch for today. There are rows of double and half treble stitches, and also the cross trebles we learnt in the last lesson. Let's take a look at the front page. So, the chain 3 is counted as a stitch. The swatch is just over 6 inches in height and 4 inches in width. The gauge is based on the double and half treble rows. There are 4 rows and 5 stitches per inch. This pattern needs a 4mm hook and uses 4 colours of acrylic double knit yarn. An amount isn't given as this is such a small sample. The colours have each been given a letter as an identifier, so col A is the olive green section, col B is the lime green, and so on. Obviously use your own colour scheme. You can make a simple colour chart to keep your colours straight. Here are the chart symbols, stitch names and abbreviations for today's stitches. There's a few of them. I'll be starting from row 3 as I'm sure you can complete the first 2 rows without me. Pause the video and come back when you're ready for the 3rd row. Okay, so row 3. We'll join colour B for our first stripe. Loop the yarn onto the hook and pull it through. Chain 1 for the DC stitch height. And turn. Start your first stitch, making sure to go over both yarn ends. I've got my yarns to the back of the work, so that makes this a right side row. Continue making double crochet stitches along the row. Work over the ends for about 4 stitches. We're going to need this colour for row 5, so don't cut it. I'll leave you to it and see you for row 4. Don't forget to count your stitches. Row 4 is another row of DC stitches, so join colours see the same as you did for row 3. This is the wrong side, so our yarn need to be on this side where we can see it. I'll just tighten everything up a little. Try to not pull on the carried yarns. Work over C for a few stitches, but carry colour B along the entire row. C can be cut at the end. See you for row 5. So now we carry colour B up, ready for our next row of double crochet. Lightly hold B to stop it getting too tight, and bring a loop through. Chain 1, tighten the previous loop, and we're good to go. This is a right side row for me, so my ends are at the back. I'll stop crocheting over the ends now. Carry on with the row, cut the yarn at the end, and I'll be back for row 6. Join the 4th colour, D, by looping it through and chaining 1. Turn and put the yarn on the correct side. And make 20 DCs again. We'll be using this colour for the next 3 rows, so don't cut it yet. Meet you for row 7 and the cross trebles. So, a quick recap on cross trebles. We skip 2 stitches and make a treble in the 3rd. We chain 1, then make a treble back into the first stitch we skipped. I've put the cross treble instructions in their own section and refer to them as CTR in the pattern rows. The turning chain is counted as a stitch. Chain 3 and turn. The 3rd The first stitch is covered by our turning chain. We're skipping the next 2 stitches and making our treble in the third. Chain 1 and work the next treble into the first skipped stitch. First cross treble complete. We have a total of 6 to make. Make a treble in the third stitch along. Chain 1 and a treble in the first skipped stitch. Enjoy making these cross trebles. We've got more in the next row. At the end of this row, you should have a total of 14 trebles and 6 chains. Remember to include the turning chain in the stitch count. Chain 3 and turn. Skip the first treble and chain on the row below and work into the third stitch, which is the second treble. Chain 1 and a treble in that first skipped stitch. Let me just get some more slack. Skipping 2 stitches, a treble in the third stitch. Chain 1 and a treble in the first skipped stitch. Make sure you're working into the trebles and not the chain. This row starts with a chain 1. Now we just make a DC in each stitch and chain. You can work in the actual chain or into the space. Just keep it consistent. You can cut colour D at the end, and I'll see you for row 10. We need to join a new colour for the double crochets. Make sure your yarns are on the correct side. And start the stitches. This colour will be needed for row 12, so don't cut it. Rows 11 and 12 are a repeat of rows 4 and 5, so I won't go over those again. I'll be back for row 13 though. Now we're back to our first colour, A. This is a half treble row, but with a turning chain of 1, so join the yarn the same as previous rows. Starting in the first stitch, make 20 half trebles. It's straightforward from here, so I'll leave you to finish this row and repeat it for row 14. And that's the swatch finish. Look at what you just made. I hope you're proud of your growing crochet skills. The pattern for this swatch can be found via the link in the comments. Lesson 11 will be an introduction into shaping using increases and decreases. See you there, and don't forget to like and subscribe.